Lemonada.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer, the answer. You ask me, I'll tell you anything.
Today's a very special day. Don't you think?
Oh, sure.
Why can't you just be normal? Why can't it just be an easy flow? Like, yes, Iliza, yes, and like a radio sidekick?
Yes, I think it is, Iliza. What do you think? Why?
I think, well, today is our first official Ask Iliza Anything episode on Lemonada. It's our new home. And with Lemonada comes a new producer. Not with Lemonada, but with these new changes, we have a new producer. Everyone say hi to Leah, who I now get to blame everything on. And I'm very much looking forward to that. She's going to fit in great here. We still have Hot Scotty. And we look forward to, in the coming weeks, bringing you higher production value and just sort of having the show evolve. Same great Ask Iliza Anything. We will be replacing Emily with half a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Other than that.
What kind of jelly? Grape or strawberry?
That's a great question. I don't like grape jelly, and I know no one cares.
I don't think grape flavored. I don't think anyone's like, the taste of grapes.
Because it's not even the taste of grapes.
I keep seeing all these hacks. You put some stuff on, you made sour frozen grapes. It's a great treat in the summer.
Just freeze your grapes and it tricks your brain into thinking you're eating Snickers.
Yeah, I'm like, no, it doesn't actually. And I don't want a cold grape.
Really?
I mean, it's fine, but I'm not going to sit here and freeze my grapes.
You know what always bothers me? Frozen banana recipes.
Oh.
They always stick peanut butter on there, which I'm not a peanut butter fan, but it's always like freeze the banana and then 1 to 3 hours later, you're like, I need it now. I don't want to freeze it. It's always a subpar. It's like a sugar-free candy. You're like, this is a cold facsimile.
You know what? I feel like as a kid, a couple of times, like I'd be at another kid's house and they'd be like, we're going to dip frozen bananas in chocolate. And I was like, whoa, what a fun activity. And I was pumped.
Yeah, I just feel like whenever I see like healthy treats for your littles, I'm always like, this is 2 steps more than I'm willing to do.
Do you do ants on a log?
As an adult, like now or for my child?
For your child or for you?
No. She just kind of eats her food. We're very blunt about it. We don't do it's got to be broccoli in the shape of a dinosaur. By the way, Noah made peas yesterday. I've never seen someone eat something so fast. And that's not a brag. I thought it was going to be a conversation. Okay, mommy will feed you. Okay, don't use the fork. Inhaled like 3 full cups of peas.
Sierra?
I think it's like a baby growth spurt because I picked her up. And normally I pick her up and it's kind of like, you ever see an animal handler pick up a monkey, how like the monkey sways.
Oh.
Well, it's like when you pick it up, like the monkey goes with the motion and they you pick them up by an arm and it's no problem. And I had to stutter because she weighed a little bit more. Must be all that pea protein. Yeah. She's getting bigger.
Vital proteins.
Vital pea proteins for your baby monkey daughter. And I do want to congratulate me on the launch of Cozy Coffee Corner on our Patreon. God. Which, I'll be honest, is not what I had hoped it would be.
You immediately were fighting the chat. Okay, here's what happened. We set up the thread and you were like, everybody put what your coffee is, why you made it, what it pairs with. Here's mine. You gave none of that info. I did
a bad job.
Then people were like, here are beans I eat. You were like, no, this isn't right.
I think part of the fun of being in this world, be it my podcast or my comedy, is me being a little angry that I didn't do more preparation. And so, no, I don't want to see a bunch of beans. I want to see your fun coffee drink, which I thought people would be doing immediately.
They did.
And it's been a slow drip of drip coffee.
Somebody posted that flight of coffee. I thought that was fun.
Okay.
People
and
posted,
as of now, look, I know this comes out next Wednesday. We tape this a few days early.
There's at least 10.
It's not enough. I thought this was going to be people like, oh, finally, I can take these all out of my drafts and I have a place for all these and we need more. We want to see your beautiful coffee drink, perfect or imperfect. We want to know what it is. We want to know what you're eating with it. Okay. It's not invasive.
Not we. I don't care about any of that. You.
That's a goddamn shame because you made a beautiful cup of coffee the other day. And that's
know.
what inspired me to create this incredible category.
Well, of course, even though I'm not into coffee, when I was getting a coffee machine, I was reading every review. I was on Reddit. I was like, what accessories do I get? I had to do it to the utmost, but I don't really care about it that much.
I mean, you are a research person.
Yeah.
And Noah's a research person. Could you put your, you know what? I don't want to know what you think. I was trying to get a foot massager for my birthday and we got one that everyone loved and it's awful. But I don't want you thinking about me having foot pleasure.
Ew,
I don't.
foot pleasure. Okay.
Foot pleasure.
Are you talking like something like just a little bucket you put your feet in or like something you have to manually rub all along there?
No, like a little robot where you put your feet in little holes.
And it
wasn't
already. There's something about that when they have them at like public places, like at airport, they're like, put your foot in here. No.
Put it in there. And my foot did get caught. We sent it right back. It was too much. And also, I want deep kneading in the muscles in the arch of my foot. And it was just missing it. I'm very specific about the way I like to be touched. Speaking of, today, I had a Chinese medicine like healer guy come over.
For your nose?
This was at the advice of a friend. And, she got cupping done. And I'm like, okay, I've gotten cupping done. I know I'm past this age of my life where like I wear a tank top like, oh, this was just my healing. These are my cups. He came over and I was saying to him, I was like, I feel like there's something wrong with the left side of my body. Everything that seems to go wrong is happening on the left side. And this man said about what I thought was like going to be like an hour, a 2-hour wet cupping, which is where they prick your skin with acupuncture needles and cups. So there's blood not gushing out.
Is it's not blood, like blood the wet?
I guess so. And I didn't know that when I heard about it the first time. I didn't know he was going to do that. But then I saw the blood on the cup. I was like, okay.
What?
And he had an acupuncture, like a tattoo gun. So it was a needle that goes like, instead of leaving it in, it's just one needle going through all these places. He worked on my head. He worked on the muscles behind my ear that are pulling the muscles in my jaw, that are pulling the muscles in my neck, that are pulling the muscles in my body, why everything feels off. And it was so exquisitely painful, delightful. Like there were moments where I was like kind of running, like pulling away from him. And he would just be like, oh, good patient. And
when you were not being a good patient, he was trying to remind you how you should act.
No, he was like, because I have a pretty high pain tolerance, but I was like in my own home. I was like, it's enough. All down my spine, my neck, like the type of therapeutic massaging that you only get micro moments of in a massage. Neck pulling, cupping, and it all sounds brutal, but I feel great. My body feels warm for the first time in a long time. It felt great. It was brutal. I'm going to do it again.
Oh, how often can you do that?
I asked him because I was like, you'll see if he's a scammer. Because scammers would be like, yeah, 1 to 3 times a week. And he was like, maybe 1 month. And I was like, great. Tian Fu came around to him. Like, this guy's got a vibe.
Up the blood.
Ugh. It was
She's
great.
like, finally, I can get closer.
Do you want to see a picture of my back?
Yeah.
That's my back?
Yeah. Oh. You trying to figure out where your back is in relation to the camera this is horrible. Ow. It just looks so bruised. It doesn't look like cups, but except for that bottom one. Well, I can't see. You're not covered in blood, so I guess it's okay.
Oof. It looks like, for those of you at home, it looks like somebody took like deli salami, like the big purplish pink ones, and just laid it all up and down my spine and on my shoulders. And then he went not into my butt, but on my butt to my sciatica, digging in there. And then he took the needle and went all through my head, and he hit a point behind my ear because there's a muscle back there. It was not one of the worst pains I've ever felt, but it was to have hundreds of needle punctures on your skin and you don't really feel them. And then to have one that is so searing, you think about it the whole time. You're like, please don't do it again. But it was great.
I wonder if that one muscle back there is like what's screwing you up. Like that one is tense, so then everything else is tense.
Oh, he went into chakras. He was like, your brain is broken. And my friend who got it done, she was like, he told me my brain was broken. I'm like, I think this is the standard line for white women. Because anybody's like, my brain is broken. Oh my God, what can we do? The guy didn't push anything. He was like, you don't have as much blood as you should. You need more iron. And I was like,
what do you mean you don't have as much blood as you
need
should?
more blood. Whatever that means, Chinese medicine wise. And I was like, I don't feel like taking iron supplements. I go, can I just eat a bunch of spinach? And he was very specific. He was like, not raw, because raw things your body has to process. He was like, cooked. And I was like, fine, I'll slurp up some cooked spinach.
Like Popeye, like,
I need my blood to be thicker.
That's the thing no one talks about. His muscles were not muscles. It was thick, coagulated blood.
ew, and that's just as a big blood blister, both of his arms.
a big blood clot.
That's so disgusting.
Yeah. So that's what that was. Anyways, it was great, and highly recommend alternative forms of therapy versus going to a doctor and giving you a prescription for something. It was great. I feel great. I really do.
Well,
I swear.
I made an appointment for the cat ophthalmologist. So
No, we're moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. Tianfu got her teeth cleaned today.
Oh, good for her.
And their big feedback was like, she was a little nervous. I'm like, yeah, what animal is like, get in there. I love this. I love having you rub my teeth.
This is so fun.
Put it on her Yelp review. Speaking of helping people, speaking of feeling good.
All right. We have a question that, do you want to say what this podcast is in case anyone's like, I didn't want to listen to it until it was on the Lemonada feed?
Oh, well, by the way, there's no way anyone is still tuned in.
That they've
at
listened
this
to,
point.
they're like, who is this unrelatable Richie Rich with her blood
right.
pouring out of her back?
You wish. You know what? First of all, the guy was Korean, and he was very clear on telling me these were ancient South Korean methods.
Okay.
So if everybody over there is using it, sorry. It's not like some rich thing that I came up. People are using it, regular people. This is Ask Iliza Anything. We start up a little bit up top, kibitzing. I fight Emily on everything she wants to tell me about her life. People chime in. Other lesbians are like, we do want to hear about the cats. And I'm like, okay, great. Then we get into the questions that you have. All of the little things that fill our lives, whether it's about your best friend, a bridesmaid, a weird boyfriend, a weird girlfriend, an ex, you're trans, you don't know how to come out to your parents who hate everything, whatever it is, even if we don't fully understand you, we have your best interests in mind and we're here for you. Occasionally, we turn on one of you.
Occasionally.
You might write in and we can suss out, like, we think you're the problem. But we're here to give you that big sister advice because, Emily, we are...
Big sister.
We are big sister.
We are big sister.
And if you want to submit a question to the podcast, you can email askeliza@gmail.com, or you can go to the Ask Eliza Patreon, which is free, and drop it in the threads. That is where the coffee corner is. There's a community chat just about coffee.
You can also drop in a picture of your dog. The Patreon is free for now. And Emily hates when I say that.
Stop saying that.
I'm not running a charity here.
You're such a fast salesperson.
Or am I so honest that people are like, I need more of this. She's so authentic. She keeps it so real.
All right. This is the perfect question to kick off with. Need revenge prank idea for parents' sex book collection. Hi, Liza and Emily. Longtime listener, first-time question asker. My husband and I have been longtime fans of your comedy, and he was the one who turned me on to the podcast.
Yeah.
This is the only pod I listen to religiously on the day it comes out. I appreciate the laughs and distractions from the drama of the news and mundane daily life tasks. Some of the questions have been real serious lately, so here's a silly one. I, 34 female, not in grad school and not a nurse, and my husband, 36 male, also not in grad school nor a nurse, are currently house sitting for my parents. We are doing this for free, and while their house is in a beautiful rural area of Colorado, it is a 7-hour drive from our home. They didn't express much gratitude leading up to us coming to watch their house and dog, and when we got here, their house wasn't that clean either. The real kicker, though, is that they left their library of sex books on their nightstands. My husband and I are staying in their bedroom because they recently got rid of their guest bed. There are books like How to Give Her Absolute Pleasure, How to Have Magnificent Sex, How to Be an Excellent Lover, and of course, the Kama Sutra right on their bedside tables where we are staying.
I think they're fucking with you. I think they're fucking with you.
I am an only child. While I appreciate the fact that my parents have a loving relationship and have been married for 40 years, their openness with their sexuality can be a little disturbing. No one wants to think about their parents getting it on. What's an amazing prank we could get them back for their lack of discretion? Something that says, come on, guys, with humor. Cotton bouquet on the nightstand. We will likely be back home before you get to this. So any mail-in pranks would be great. Love you both. Thanks for your advice. P.S. Emily, I recently moved and you are the exact vibe of friend I'm looking for. Any Northern Colorado-based Emilys? Let's be friends. Cat ladies unite. Starting a movement.
You guys can start your own Patreon thread about where to find Emily doppelgangers in the mountain region of the United States. What you should have done is gone through those books and made little notes, like little notes to yourself, buy those little plastic things that have the color, like the tab you stick in the book, like a little micro bookmark, like with arrows, and be like, this is a good idea. Mom would love this move. Dad, try this. Watch out for your back. Like as if you went through it. That's what you should have done. In case these are real, when they go through it, they'll see that you have little annotations. You want to do, I mean, if you do that prank, they might get really embarrassed. Is that what you want?
It seems like it is. How do you feel about the fact that they didn't clean before they came? My mom's coming to stay with the cats. So I'm like, I swept, I did the sheet. You know what I mean? Like I'm like cleaning up because she's only staying here for a couple days. They're driving 7 hours.
Can you send an erotic cake and be like, to go with your books?
Or one of those like...
to go with your reading, to eat while reading.
What's that machine that Howard Stern used to make people have sex with on his show? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sybian?
Sybian, yeah.
Yes, drop $2,000.
Send them a $2,000 sex toy and go, ha ha.
On a dick saddle. That's appropriate. No, you don't want to spend any more money. You did this for free. I would do that. Yeah, that's what I would do. Because I wouldn't want to play a prank. I'd want to just mention it and then let them sit in that awkwardness. Or they're like, yeah, what's the big deal? Why can't you be more mature about it? Your bigger issue, if the house were immaculate and they left you flowers and like a nice little cheese plate, then you'd be like, oh, we'll just pretend we didn't see these.
Right. But it's like they were like mid just living their lives, having sex, and they walked out to their destination and then the kids came in.
I feel like you want to FaceTime them and be like, I'm joining a book club. This one's called Your G-Spot and Other Erogenous Zones. What do you think about that book? And just start citing all the books that they have and see if your mom's like, oh, I've never heard of that one. I guess I don't really get your point, but those are my excellent suggestions right off the top of my head.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. You should have snuck back in there and annotated little parts of the book. Be like, love this section, Dad. Ask Mom what position she prefers.
Barf.
Mom seems like a reverse cowgirl kind of girl. Get in there. By the way, don't go down on Mom if you have strep. If you listen to Ask Iliza Anything, important to the last episode, we all know what happens. Your ovary could swell up to the size of a quail
Bartholin's
egg.
gland.
Your Bartholin's gland could size to the size of a quail egg, the only egg anyone ever thinks of. Totally normal egg.
That's all we're going to be eating soon, quail eggs.
Tell you what was that? What was that weird apocalyptic threat?
I was being topical and political.
For anyone who's new to this podcast, don't worry. You soon too will be rolling in inside jokes. So this one might be a little hard for you, but just keep it up and soon you will be one
like
of us.
That. Oh,
well, they don't know the quail egg.
Well, it was just the last episode. It's not a deep-seated lore.
Anything about you or Kashi Goling Crunch. They don't know. They haven't done the work.
Yeah, this podcast actually requires a lot of work, so get on board.
So get on that Sybian and ride it into glory. You are the one that brought it up.
I know I
weirdo.
did. I'm sorry.
Okay. You also acted like you didn't know what it was called, but you did because we've all watched Howard Stern.
I actually never have, and you want to know how I know about Howard Stern?
No. Do you want to know how do I want to know how you know about one of the most famous people in all of radio?
You know who his wife is.
Yes,
prolific
rescues animals.
Cat rescuer, Beth Stern. Yeah. So I just see him in the background, like cuddling a cat. I'm like, that old man seems nice. And then he's out there like, let's have a squirt contest, strippers.
Yeah, there's your innie and your outie. There's the man at home, there's the man at work, and you are under no obligation to be one or the other at any point.
All right, we have a question from Squirtle. Hi, Iliza. Name has obviously been changed. My boyfriend's mom is really clingy and has no awareness of reasonable boundaries. Incident. Pikachu and I were cuddled up on the couch about to watch a movie. His mom brought over a lamp project with tools and parts that needed fixing, sat on the couch next to us and started asking Pikachu questions. He politely said, "Mom, would you mind doing that somewhere else?" And she said, "No. Am I bothering you?" BS.
Does he live? Does he live with the mom? Is this his own house? How old are you guys?
I don't know. Let's keep going. BF's mom doesn't realize her children and their partners are grown adults and don't need to be nagged or don't want her opinion on how to wear clothes. Incident. I was wearing a button-down shirt, unbuttoned enough for cleavage, and a super modest long skirt. Overall, the outfit was tasteful and not obscene. We were having lunch, and in front of everyone, his mom asked me to pull up my shirt. I'd rather go topless than have her give me instructions on how to dress.
Pull it up over your cleavage or pull up to show your belly? Can I see that midsection?
I know, right? You're not showing enough skin.
Let me see that mid belly.
The problem is that I'm not sure I can set boundaries without hurting her feelings. She always seems to be worried that she's a terrible mother. She's asked her kids if that is the case multiple times, at least since they were in high school. They're in their 20s now. Or that people hate her. I don't hate her. She used to make her own clothes. I think that's awesome. But I need space from her and wish she respected me enough to not comment on my clothes. Now we get to the heart of the issue, right? She's just mad about the clothes thing. So we don't know if the mom lives with them. It seems like,
I can't tell.
Let's say she doesn't.
Well, I'm getting it's mom's house vibes. Because why else would she have the lamp?
Right. She's doing her little lamp project. She brought her lamp over to your house.
That's what I'm saying. Like, did she just come in? Did she have a key? Is this her house? And your boyfriend in his 20s like lives with his mom, and you're like, why can't she just take a hike?
Right.
It's the only couch.
Can I say I was shocked. I think giving your boyfriend the name Pikachu, that's like the least sexy Pokemon you could name your boyfriend. It's like not a manly Pokemon. Why isn't it like Machop? You know that guy? He's like a blue guy with muscles.
No, I don't. But you could get a new boyfriend and just keep adding to your collection and be like, gotta catch them all. That's it. That's the whole thing.
So the question was like, my boyfriend's not really setting boundaries with his mom, but it seems the clothes thing seemed to bother her more than the lamp thing.
We don't have enough info to know. First of all, if he lives in his mom's house, that's a horse of a different color. Okay. And if that's the case, like, sorry, like that's her house and maybe he needs to get his own place. Okay. Let's say he doesn't. God, I don't know how she got over there. You guys need to spend a concerted amount of time and effort to do things alone, going out, away from the home. She's not invited. And your mother is insecure. And this is an insecurity that she has probably had her entire life. And it is that thing where you're trying to keep your kids closer and it's in fact pushing them away. This is not your battle. And this is the advice that we always give. If you make it your battle in any way, shape, or form, you will become like a weird target. This is about your boyfriend standing up to his mom, who is going to spiral with or without him. It is not up to the child to give the parent validation that you're not a bad mom, that you're doing a good job, because she's missing a part of her, and that's very sad, that gives her assurance that she's doing things well, okay? This is your boyfriend's issue. And it seems to me like he's not drawing enough of a boundary and you're annoyed. So what you need to say to your boyfriend is, I'm trying to be attracted to you and do romantic things with you and hang out with you. And either you haven't set a boundary with your mom, you haven't created a situation where your mom feels that there are boundaries to be respected, the boyfriend's mom. He has done none of that. And this does not need to be done in front of you, and it doesn't need to be heavy-handed. But he needs to understand, as a man, you're trying to spend time with him. As for her comments about your clothes, it's not like what moms do or mother-in-laws. But if you are okay with the way you are dressed, you just have to be like, okay, and not do it. You have to draw your own boundary. You have to pick your battle. Sometimes you'll be like, okay, but you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt. But everything else comes down to, once again, a guy not doing what he should be doing. And now you're left.
Yeah.
Being the one drawing the boundaries.
Can you
But please let us know.
Can you name a single Pokemon besides the 3 that were named today?
Mm-hmm. Flareon.
Oh.
Flareon my way.
Oh.
It's because Blanche used to, my Bonnie always said looked like a Flareon.
That is true.
And I actually have a Pokemon card right here of Tianfu. Hold on.
Oh, that is very precious.
This fan, I think her son, he made this, if you can hear it. like solid metal MasterCard Pokemon card for Tianfu.
And it looks wonderful.
This is our video, by the way. People are going to want to see this.
Yes,
Bow Bite, the attack. This attack does an additional 60 damage for every bow in her mouth. There's a button for weakness, resistance. This Pokepet has defined all odds and has learned human kindness through her trainer, Iliza. Snow Peach Pokepet. Pokepet power. Tianfu is a boneless beast who will melt your heart and take over your sweaters.
Oh, I love that.
Robert Bashir, everybody. Yeah. And I'm not a Pokemon person, but I kept this and it's right by my desk.
Because it's very cool.
Very cool. All right.
All right. We have a confession that I felt you would really connect with in like a secret way. This confession. I love to physically fight. I am a small woman, blonde hair, blue-eyed. It makes me appear an easy target. I started taking jujitsu classes in college to learn to defend myself, and now I find myself hoping a guy will touch me in the wrong way so I have an excuse to break his nose. I find I put myself in situations I might be more of a target because I really like the adrenaline rush and the look on their face when little old me busts their face. I even like when it's a challenge and they anticipate my moves. Overall, I just love a physical fight outside of a controlled area. I know it's dangerous and I'm very aware I need to make sure I maintain safety, but I do really enjoy it. ...
That is one of the most awesome things I've heard in a very long time.
And because of this community, all the commenters are like, please stay safe.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with all martial arts, the idea is that you never have to use it. So I feel like you're breaking some type of like
martial
inner chi agreement.
Yeah.
Martial law. I feel like you're breaking some sort of martial law by like seeking out a fight. It's not supposed to be you lure them in under the cloak of like size deception. And then you're like, was just trying to get you to fight me. You're like a martial arts shark. Like, does anyone want a game? An honest game? Also, it sounds like you get into a lot of these fights. It's a confession though. She's not asking for advice. That's one thing I have to work on this podcast. You confess it unless I have something to say for or against, but I can't. This is not an advice thing. See you soon, little one. Hope to see you at a show in a congenial way.
Yeah, don't fight.
Oh man, one day you're going to run into a bigger version of you that also enjoys the same thrill of being alive. And I pray for you.
I know. Hi, IE and HS. My hubby, 64, and I, 63, grew up together as kids and had a crush on each other. Then we weren't in touch for 35 years. We had spouses, kids, lives, reconnected 7 years ago, now married for 2 years. Things are fab. If my mother were alive, she would say, finally, a Jewish doctor. We both were
Does it count if they're retired? Okay.
He might still have a couple years left, a year.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
We both were previously...
Depends on how well he did. Okay.
Well, we both were previously married to non-Jews, which is not necessarily why it didn't work out. Anyway, here's the question. In the beginning of our relationship, the sex was incredible. We couldn't keep our hands off each other. It was like being on a drug. We're still very much in love. He tells me all the time. He's very good to me, will do anything for me. But the intimacy has really dropped off. I've expressed my feelings about this to him. We're very open, but at our age, either someone has a backache, a knee ache, a headache, or a stomach ache. And sometimes intimacy is just the last thing our marriage.
I think that's just being Jewish.
Just the last thing. Our marriage is wonderful. We travel and do all the things. I don't know how to regain the spark of intimacy. We're attracted to each other. At least I know I'm attracted to him. He acts as though he's attracted to me, he says he loves me all the time, hugs me, kisses me, but I don't think he has touched me in 6 months. Should I just start touching him in bed?
Yes.
I know things are different when you're younger. I'm like your mother's age. But believe me, my brain is like much younger. I feel like when I leave for work early, he masturbates in the morning and that's good enough for him.
Okay.
I don't know what to do. Thanks, Lily.
First of all, Lily, my mother, the rest of this question notwithstanding, is going to be so touched that you think that you guys are the same age. That's awesome.
Is she not?
No, my mother is.
You can't say her age, but.
I feel like she's okay with it, but she is not 64.
Oh.
She looks incredible.
Yeah.
It's that olive skin. Yeah.
Oh.
She'll probably tell you. I mean, I'll ask her. I don't want to blab, but no, she is. I took her for a big birthday trip a few years ago. She is, and it was not in her 60s. Okay.
She's 200.
My mother is 200 years old. My mother's 97 and looks
What, a
immaculate.
2,000-year-old man or whatever.
And just as funny.
Yeah.
Your husband has low testosterone, and that is something that you can fix with a pill. And he needs to go see a doctor about it. That's it. It's not you. That's it. It's probably just easier to get off by himself and he doesn't have to think about it. You should totally initiate it, but I think maybe he might have a trouble getting an erection, and he can go see a doctor and get some pills and be done with it. But that's what it is. And he's probably embarrassed to tell you. Isn't he a doctor? Can't he write himself a prescription?
Right. Get yourself some meds, buddy. Did I talk on this podcast or a different one about, remember when Charlotte like put some paper around Trey's penis to be like, I think he's having secret erections.
Right. He had erectile. She's a lunatic, and he had erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
Which is a very common thing that, of course, men don't talk about because you're supposed to be rock hard at all times, just jizzing everywhere. And men don't want to talk about it because it impugns your virility. And this is how men measure their manhood. So that's what it is. And I think a lot of times in relationships, unless a guy has an STD or is a closeted homosexual, oftentimes when a guy doesn't want to have sex, it is because of something like this. That's it. Or they just give you the STD and have sex with you even though they're gay, and they're like, that wasn't great. And then you're like, was it me? And that's it. He has erectile dysfunction. Get it sorted so you can get back to doing what you love.
Yeah.
Having sex with a man you met when you were 13, they got separated from, but now you're back together.
It's better than our I mean, it's not better, but it's happier than our confession last week where she reconnected with that hot man from her youth, and then he still had a micro penis, and so she was annoyed with him.
Sent him a $7.99 penis pump, which you might want to get the link for.
Yeah.
In our Patreon. That's what it is. Okay. That's what it is. That's God's goddamn.
Hi, AIA crew. I know Emily will want to know this info, so I actually found Iliza through the podcast. Became a huge fan, listened back to every episode, decided to see her live in Honolulu 2 years ago, and then became a huge fan of her comedy.
I love that.
I have a master's degree, but not in nursing.
Well, you can stay.
Okay. Here's my simple and low stakes question. What is the appropriate amount of time to wait to ask someone a second time to return a book you lent them? Here's the context. I lent a
book. Stakes have never been higher.
I love this question. I lent a book to a friend over 2 years ago. Let's call her Rachel.
Now. The time is now. The time is now. It's what are you waiting for?
We were never super close. Our husbands worked together in the military, and we've drifted even further apart since then. I was wondering if I should reach out to ask for it back since it's been so long when I saw my realtor post a house for sale and recognized it as Rachel's. I texted her to ask when/where they're being stationed and ask how that was all going. At the end of the conversation, I mentioned I'd love to get my book back before she packs everything up. She said she'd, quote, look for it and get back to me. That was 2 weeks ago.
Buy a new book. Is this like an ancient Bible?
Wait, but this is getting so good. What I didn't tell her, because that would be creepy, is that the realtor's post showed a clear shot of their bookcase. And my book was clearly in the shot, so I know exactly where it is. LOL. I know it's just a book, but if I spent $20 to own a physical copy of a book, I really want to have it back. Do I give her more time? I realize she's probably really busy. Ask politely again or go to the open house and just take it back myself.
There you go.
I'm kidding. That would feel creepy.
Oh, I thought that was a great idea.
Since she's not a close friend, I'm overthinking not wanting to seem rude, but I really do want my book back. Thanks.
You know what? I appreciate that you're a little weird and that this is some gold-bound King James edition of Eat, Pray, Love that you need to get back. The fact is, what's killing you is that you know she has it. And she doesn't care. You guys aren't friends. It is low on her priority list. You have nothing to lose. And I cannot tell you that I would do this, but I will say, since she's moving, you have nothing to lose by texting me like, hey, I know I sound crazy, but the whole reason I texted you was that I saw, why not? Be like, I see you have it.
But I don't think you want to set, because you don't want it to look like you set her up to catch her in a lie. Like, I actually knew you had it the whole time. But I think.
Okay, fine, Emily. What are you going to do? Because she's going to be like, I don't know where it is. And then she's going to have to be like, actually, I do.
I think you can say you were looking. I was looking at the photos of your open house. This is so weird. But actually, the book is in the photo. Can I come grab it?
Fine. That's means to an end. We both are what I was circling to. You keep interrupting me. It's driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy, especially after I sent you a Christmas gift, which you haven't even talked about.
Last week,
Didn't
you
get
were
anything
like,
from
you
you.
were like, I sent a birthday gift. I was like, oh yeah, let's talk about it. And you were like, it's boring. I don't want to talk about it. Now this week, you're like, why aren't we talking about it?
I just want you. I was in the middle of saying what we just had different windups. But basically, yeah, go with Emily's, where you're like, hey, I was looking at the pictures of your open house and I actually saw the book. It's on the bottom left shelf. Can I swing by and grab it? I know I sound crazy. I just really want the book back. LOL.
Yeah.
She will hopefully be like, oh my God, I'm so glad it's there. Oh, because you're making it easier for her and you're
Right.
offering to come get it. Do it, because the worst thing that could happen is she doesn't write back and you don't get the book back. And
Yeah.
she's leaving anyway.
I've lent a friend an autograph book that I know they have it, and I know that they would say they don't have it, and I'm really mad about it.
What happens is we've all done this. I've done this where someone, I mean, not lately, this is definitely in my youth, where someone gives you something and then it's this weird thing. I'm sure there's like a social science aspect to this where like enough time goes by that you're almost annoyed that someone's asking for it, or it's a hassle, or you're like, I don't have time to go to that post office.
Yeah.
And then you're like, who cares? But like that person is within their right to ask for it.
Yeah.
So she's tacky. Who cares? You're not going to be friends with her. You see that book, go get that book.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
do it.
I mean, I love that you're like, no, my book's there.
It's right there. She should be embarrassed, and everything should be like, oh, hopefully she'll be like, oh my God, I couldn't find it. Yeah, I'll set it outside.
Right.
They don't have to see her. Yeah, it'll be great. She'll give it back to you.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen? She doesn't respond. You still don't get the book back. I'm going to send you $20 to go get another copy of The Nightingale or whatever it is you're
But
reading.
I would be mortified. If I had someone's thing and I didn't know where it is, I'd be so embarrassed.
No, I would immediately be like, I can't find it. Can I pay you for
Can
it?
I buy you another? Like, I'll have one delivered to you right now.
And she's thinking like, what's the big deal? It's just a paperback book. And you're like, it's the book of souls. I have to read from it every night if I want to stay in this human form. Mahalo.
AIA team. My wife and I are doing reciprocal IVF. Her egg, my uterus. Our families know this is our plan eventually, but are blissfully unaware we're doing it now. Have already retrieved her eggs, have several embryos on ice, and are about to transfer one to me in a couple of weeks. That leads me to the problem. My dad is coming to visit from out of state 2 days after the transfer. I'll be what's called, quote, pregnant until proven otherwise, in the 2-week wait to find out if it took or not. So I can't do any drinking, raw meats, etc. I'll also be on 3 meds 3 times daily, plus an injection in my ass every damn morning. Do I just tell my dad that I'm maybe pregnant? Do I say I'm on antibiotics, which will be true, so I can't drink? Do I just say this is what it is? Don't ask questions? I don't mind telling him. I think he'll be excited. I also think he can keep a secret from my mom, but my wife disagrees. The friend I have told thinks it's unfair to tell him now and take the, quote, surprise out of it later, which I think is a super weird take, but whatever. Anyway, please help. No name, because even though my dad doesn't likely listen, some of my friends do.
I love that. I love to hear that. Okay. So this is one of the tougher types of questions we get on this because there's no wrong answer here. This is, and I appreciate what your partner is saying. It is, it sounds like your parents are divorced, but I can't tell. It is tricky if you tell your dad a little bit, but you keep it from your mom. Now, the reason you're keeping all of this is because you want the special moment of saying, we're pregnant. That's what you want.
Right? Not like we're pregnant until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I think you're wanting that. I would tell you if you are about to become a parent, what you need to let go of are any expectations. Because, and I hate to say this, you could become pregnant and then lose it. Your parents will be excited for you every step of the way. No two pregnancies look alike. Okay? And you will find joy in moments that other people take for granted. You will feel nothing for moments that other people love. Like there is no right way to do it. And you probably have in your mind this very special moment where you gather everyone and you play a fun prank and you tell them all you're pregnant. I would let go of that simply because if you hold on to that and that doesn't happen the way you wanted, I wouldn't want you to be disappointed. I wouldn't not tell your dad if it's making your life harder by not telling him. If it's not, if it's making your visit with him harder and you're wanting to tell him, he'll be so excited. And yeah, it won't be the big reveal, but it will be him so excited that you're doing this. And then he'll kind of be on that little journey with you. So do it, don't do it. It's all about what's the outcome that you want. you know? That's it. Because you also get a pop of excitement when you find out what the gender is. You also get a pop of excitement when the baby's born. The first month, the first word. Like there's so many incredible moments. And by the way, this will all be a blur in like a year. So the question is, do you want people on that journey? Now you said, if I tell you don't, and do I say something to him and then ask him not to talk about it? If that's the case, maybe don't.
Well, it's interesting that the wife was like, no, it sounds like the wife thinks, no, he's going to rat. So.
Yeah, but okay, so he rats. And then is it because there's that. And then you were also like, I'm pregnant, but I don't want to talk about it. So are you debating telling him just to make it easier? Like now you know that's why I keep having to go to the bathroom to give myself shots. Or are you telling him, because that's kind of unfair to tell him something like that and then be like, and I don't want to hear a fucking word about it, Dad.
Right.
So I think you need to dig deep. Like, what are the reactions you want? What are the moments that you want?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You know, and also if you're like, we're trying to get pregnant and I'm pregnant, but I'm not sure. He's a dad, so he'll probably be happy for you regardless. Like you can't control too much of this.
Yeah.
If it makes your life easier to tell him, great. And by the way, the big moment is at that 2-week mark when you still are pregnant. And then you get to be like, we're officially pregnant.
And how
like we know we are, it's staying or whatever it is.
How observant is he? You know what I mean? Like, is he if you're not drinking, like, does he usually come into town, you share 8 shots and a cured meats platter? You know, like what's, is it, or is he not that observant because he's like a dude?
You're a lesbian going to the bathroom. There is nothing that he cares less about. The version of your dad being like, I noticed you got up and you were gone for over 3 minutes.
I saw you
like,
take a lot of pills. Chances
are your dad is not paying attention to whatever you do with your lady parts in that bathroom.
Ugh.
And it's okay to be like, I'm trying not to drink. He'll probably be like, are you pregnant? You could say the antibiotic thing. It's all about what makes your journey easier.
Yeah, or even like, well, we're trying to get pregnant. So
yeah, I'm just trying to be healthier.
Yeah.
We don't know enough about your dad, but your parents are going to be ecstatic for you every bit of the way, like whatever.
But your friend is weird who's like, you're ruining their surprise. It's like, you're not having a baby for them. Yeah.
By the way, it doesn't have to be a surprise. It can be relief. It's been 2 weeks. It's still here. Great. Because they'll be praying for that day. They'll be looking forward. They'll have it circled on the calendar. You know, they'll be with you. Their support, because you're a gay couple doing an unconventional way of getting pregnant, is going to look different than the support of like a heterosexual couple that just had sex. Every couple's parents are going to offer support in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Your support's going to have to be different because you're not doing it in a traditional way. Because you guys are different. And that's great.
Help. It's too much texting. Dear Eliza and Emily, loyal listener of the pod here. Eliza has answered one of my questions before and was spot on, so I figured I'd try again with this latest dilemma.
I gotta cap it. Gotta cap it after this one for this person.
You're done.
Over the limit.
I have a best friend who I've known since high school. I'll call her Apple. Apple has been a great friend over the years, and we've gone through many tough times together. But one thing that has been grinding my gears lately is the incessant amount of texting. Often it is about the most inane topics, like she rediscovered how much she likes Raisin Bran cereal or a dream she had.
That's awful. That's unforgivable. That's up there with a story about what happened to you in traffic.
Ugh.
That's up there with your horoscope.
She also does the same thing with my sister. They're close to and live in the same apartment building, and also spams the group chat with the 3 of us with even more continuous daily updates. It's gotten to a point where my sister had to call me to vent about the amount of texting. It's worse for her because they live in the same building, so I think Apple starts to infringe on my sister's alone time. Apple has been through a lot this year, including a divorce from a horrible cheating psycho and saying goodbye to her dog to move to a new apartment in the city.
Oh.
So we want to be.
Emily and I get very upset when someone leaves an animal.
Yeah, I might
we don't
not
care
like
about the divorce.
Apple.
We're like, where's that dog now?
I know.
When you say goodbye, I thought he died, but now
and then the rest of it was just she's done with him.
We don't like Apple.
So we want to be kind and supportive, but the texting is too much. Well, this amount of texting might have been normal in high school. We're all in our late 20s now, so it feels weird. Any suggestions?
Nobody texted this much in high school, by the way, because we all had Nokia phones.
T9. I'm like
And it was
sending
hard.
like, yes, okay.
Unless this person is much younger, but like still. Okay.
Is the direct approach the best way? Should we just let it ride and pepper in a few? That's crazy. LOL responses every once in a while. Please help. P.S. I appreciate the pod so much. Listening is a treat I look forward to when walking my dog or getting chores done, especially now that I am 9 weeks pregnant and motivation is hard to come by. Rock on, Iliza and Emily.
Congratulations.
When is someone going to name their baby Ask Iliza?
Ask Iliza. Does Apple have a day job? Part of me wonders if she's texting from a computer. I know that I can text more. I don't text like that, but I text longer sentences when I'm at a computer. That's just a question versus like hunched over your phone writing these things. Honestly, it's all about what you can handle. I definitely have, you can't really process more unless you're like in the middle of a big fight or a breakup or like a work text. When it's just frivolous stuff with friends, I can't say that I always read the whole thing. And usually it's not pertinent information. And if it costs you nothing to be like, LOL, that's crazy. And she's not getting the hint. Okay. Yeah. But if it is annoying you and these are coming in multiple times a day, you can silence the group. Do the passive aggressive thing of leaving the group, which is shitty because there's only 3 of you. It's tough because you're going to tell her, hey, like you text a lot. And then she's going to be like, okay, well, what can't I text you about? You know?
I know it does feel like an attack on her character that she's so boring and thinks it's a good idea to share her dreams. Like, it's not like she's going to get better at texting like this. She's like, this is me. I have dreams and I mean, like Riza Brand.
I've been pretty blunt with the friends in my life. And I have definitely written to people that I'm close enough to, like, I love you so much. I never want to hear about someone's dream.
Yeah.
I don't. And like, at least you will have been heard. There are plenty of women who are just blunt like that. Like, you know, like just kind of letting her know, like, this is mental runoff that you're passing along to me. And we do have this thing where a lot of girls write in and you almost sort of feel the energy of your friend after they've gone through something awful. And you're like, is it on me? It's not. You know, you want to be a good friend. That's great. We can talk. We can meet up. And you could say that to her. You can be like, but it is like a lot of text. And if you're not okay with saying that, you can just be like, I have to be honest. I never want to hear about someone's dream. And you can kind of like be mean funny about it. I don't know if you can pull that off.
I think with this person, it really is just, can you keep ha-haing your way to acceptance?
What? Don't write back at all. And when because she probably won't, because what she's doing is just sort of cleaning out her like gray matter cobwebs. If she ever, and I bet you she won't, follows up with, did you hear what I said about being a Capricorn rising? You can be like, sorry, I'm just in the middle of something. Sorry, I'm just really busy. Sorry, there's so many texts. You don't have to respond to any of these. A text is not a digital leash. Like it's supposed to be information. Like you are under no obligation. You're not in the middle of a contract. So you could just not write back. And I know you feel compelled to do so because you're a girl, but if you're truly busy, then you just don't. And pick up later, and I guarantee she'll still be ranting. Because sadly, like it's not about a conversation, which is shitty, but it should hearten you to know that like it doesn't really matter how you're reacting.
You know, I think about that I'll text people. I don't tend to text people just like questions about themselves because I'm like, I don't want to pry, but I will just text and be like, this just happened. Like I just say a small thing about myself that I'm like, do I look uninterested in other people? I don't like, texting is so weird.
You, Emily.
I'm just saying, texting etiquette is so.
If you're close, this is one of your best friends, you should be able to be like, I have to be honest. Like if Michelle told me a bunch of stuff, I'd be like, I have to be honest. I cannot hear about this right now. I would never say I don't care. I would just be like, I never want to hear about your sandwich.
You would.
I wouldn't ever say I don't care.
You wouldn't say it about something real, but I think you'd say it about like a dream or a sandwich. Yeah,
because fucking it's garbage. Right. But I wouldn't say it like, fuck you, I don't care. I'd be like, I don't know that I can care today. Like, it depends on the rapport that you have, but you definitely don't have to feel this and you definitely don't have to respond to everything. And if it means enough to her, then she'll write back and then you can really talk about it. Yeah. Stop thinking that you have to be like, And Lord knows I do my fair share of LOLs. Okay. Thumbs up.
When I get a thumbs up from you, I know it's over.
I try not to send them because they do feel so passive aggressive. If I send a thumbs up, usually it's like, totally, I got it.
No, I
heard what you said.
But it's like it's like when older people do ... like okay ... and you're like, are you mad?
Are you backing out of a room?
Right.
Like, okay.
Right. Yeah.
Like, why did I just hear a hidden door creak and then you disappeared? Okay.
Top of the cob.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite. Top of the cob.
My bottom of the cob. I don't like that. It's tough because when it's not there, I'm like, oh no, I should have asked for it. I don't like that there's automatically a plastic fork when you pick up food. If I'm picking up food, like I guess you don't know that I'm taking it to eat at home, and that's fair, but like you should have to ask for it. Something that I learned the hard way in Vancouver when my Chinese food was delivered with no utensils, but you should have to ask for it.
Yeah.
As Americans, we're so used to like extra napkins, extra sauce. They didn't give me soy sauce. Like I got like bare bones Chinese food. And it's like, yeah, you got to ask for it. And that's important. While Donald Trump reinstates mandatory plastic straws. Because
You have to kill one turtle a year or you're going to get deported.
We did pick up delivery of Korean food and it arrived and it had a fork. And I was like, what do I do with this now? I got a drawer of forks. I don't need this.
Isles likes
my
to
bottom.
play with plastic utensils, so I give them to her.
No, that's a bad idea. What's your bottom?
My bottom is I was taking a shower earlier to get
I
ready
was
for my
assaulted in
big
my driveway.
weekend. I know,
Uh-huh.
I was attacked. The hot water ran out. And I was like, is this something that can happen in my own home?
Yeah.
I pay for water here. What's going on? So instead of figuring that out, I'm going out of town tomorrow. So that's just going to be
Where are you going?
Florida. Driving to Florida
Why?
to see Angie Harmon tomorrow.
Is that why your hair looks nice? Did you curl it?
I blow dried it instead of letting it air dry after
Wow.
my cold water conditioner. So I just
I'm sorry. The past tense of blow dry is blue drid.
blew dried.
I blue drid it.
I blew dried it, but I had to I got the shampoo in and then it started getting cold and I'm like, what's
Oh, that's
happening? And then I got
awful.
the conditioner in. I'm like, I gotta go.
You got to do it so fast. That's
Yeah.
awful. Well, the good news is those cuticles in your hair are closed. The cold water seals it up. Seals it up.
Oh, I can't.
That's awful.
What do you do? I don't want to
I
go
don't
look
know.
into that. I'd rather just assume something's up with the city and not think about it.
I would just wait till you come back and then deal with it. As
Yeah.
a homeowner, I don't want to deal with that.
No.
I woke up last night at because it was raining hard. I must have been midnight and I just heard a weird noise outside and I kind of was hoping Noah would be awake and he was. And I was like, what is that? And he goes like, do you want me to go look? And I was like, yes, please. And it was like nothing he could fix. It was like something in the rain gutter. And I was like, okay, just as long as you looked. I wasn't going to.
I do love when the power goes out or water wasn't coming out of my sinks and I could just go to the neighborhood group and somebody else is like, is anyone
Always.
else's water out? And I'm like, good. I called 411 and I'm like,
That's what
great.
you
I don't
need.
have to do anything.
Everybody needs a neighbor that's all about action.
Yes.
For me, it was Bonnie for so long.
Oh,
It's
love
the
Bonnie.
the group for our neighborhood that you still have the Facebook password to
Don't
that I've
kick
never
me
been on.
out neighborhood group. I'm in
Emily-
3 different neighborhood groups for your neighborhood or
Emily would
2.
be like, here's an update on your neighborhood. I'm like, I don't even. She's like, just so you know, they're giving away chairs.
They post so often.
It's crazy.
Fan bottom. My bottom of the cob is my dentist books 9 months out for standard cleanings. And last April, 2024, I was told my next cleaning couldn't be until this December, 2024. The other guy in front of me got told the same thing when he said, you're kidding, right? The receptionist just stared at him until he agreed to the 9-month wait. Well,
You're supposed to do it every 6 months.
yeah. This week, while on vacation in Miami to get away from grad school, I got a 72-hour reminder that my long-awaited dentist appointment was Tuesday, December 17th at 9:30 a.m. And I don't come back till Wednesday. When I called to see if I could move the appointment, I was told I can, but the next free appointment isn't until August 2025.
Do you live in Antarctica and there's only one dentist? Get a new dentist.
Or she lives somewhere where everybody's teeth are really bad. If I stay at this dentist,
Even more reason to get a new dentist. This guy's doing a terrible job.
if I stay at this dentist, I will have waited about 1.5 years to have my teeth cleaned. Obviously, I'm not flying across the country for a dentist, but who are these people? Do I send a disgusted email or just quietly leave? Now, obviously, I'm asking this question 2 months late, Eliza, but I think it still works. Do I call pretending I broke a tooth and then when I show up to the emergency appointment, say I just need a cleaning? Sincerely,
No.
mad at Big Tooth. Again, Eliza, this is 2 months old, but what should this person do?
Well, it doesn't matter because she still won't have had that cleaning.
Right.
You need to get a new dentist. That's it. And maybe you live in a remote area. Can you see like a veterinarian or something? You need to get a new dentist. And I had a dentist that I was unhappy with. And it's hard to extricate yourself from a dentist.
Is it the dentist that leaves me voicemails looking for you? Like, where's Iliza? What's up with Iliza? And I just don't
Probably.
answer.
They just got like weirdly too familiar. And then like I did like Invisalign with them. And then the Invisalign couldn't get made. And then that wasn't their fault. It was someone else's fault. But then it just felt like too many emails, too many calls. And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't love this. I don't need this. I take really good care of my teeth. I just need a fucking cleaning once in a while. I don't need to have a dialogue. Goodbye.
They really wanted to like hold your hand. They're like, is she thinking about it? I'm like, no, I don't know what her like tooth journey is like right now, but.
I'm sorry, you guys don't have more patience.
Right.
Now my dentist is 15 years old. He's like this 15-year-old Persian guy, and that's fine.
Perfect.
It's great. I hope he's not listening. He's really young. But that's great. You need to get a new dentist. That's silly. But to be fair, I will say dental health in this country is an abomination. Like dental coverage is a fucking joke. Nothing is covered and it's so stingy. And it's like, okay, we can do half of your canine incisor, but the other half, it's not covered. If it needs to come out, you can just bite down on this piece of wood. So, but get a new dentist. That's crazy. It should be every 6 months. So,
yeah.
Bottom.
Top.
I think the top. Oh, yeah. My top of the cob, and I feel like an imposter because I came home from my sets last night and Noah was watching the John Williams documentary about the composer who's done the music for pretty much any film you've ever loved. And I just sat down and watched it because I'm an American kid. And if the TV's on, I'm going to watch it. And I found myself getting emotional because when you hear a movie and the music is good, like there are songs like the Jurassic Park theme song, the songs that are so moving that you just assumed it always was. Like it's hard to imagine that somebody actually created the Home Alone music, that those weren't Christmas carols. Like that somebody wrote those because they
like
leave
Jaws.
such an indelible mark on our hearts, right? So this guy, John Williams, whose name I knew before, but I guess I had never really thought about the breadth of his work. He's in literally every Steven Spielberg movie. And so we're talking about like Schindler's List and Jurassic Park. These movies came out in the same year, by the way. Jaws, Star Wars, which was interesting to know that Star Wars, George Lucas had to produce it because after Jaws, Steven Spielberg did a movie called like 1941 and it tanked. And the industry was like, oh, you're a blip. And then George Lucas believed in him. But like the amount of movies, Home Alone, Valley of the Dolls, Fiddler on the Roof, let me get up to like the last century, Indiana Jones, all of them, 7 Years in Tibet, that movie Stepmom, that was super emotional, Catch Me If You Can, Harry Potter, Minority Report, War of the Worlds, Lincoln, Memoirs of a Geisha, Munich. Like, I'm obviously just read The Fablemans more recently. It was just like, I can't believe one guy is responsible for all of your musical nostalgia.
Yeah.
And while I was getting my wet cupping today, I was trying to toggle back and forth between the theme from Indiana Jones and Home Alone. And it took me like 3 minutes to remember Indiana Jones. I remembered it.
All right. Can you do Jaws?
Mm-hmm. But like, that's just so incredible. And I don't have a musical mind, so I don't see music in my head. But one guy, and before this guy, nobody went to go hear concerts of just movie music. Like when they do it at the Hollywood Bowl, they do it for Star Wars. Mm-hmm. He was the first guy to do that. It's a really great documentary. It's totally worth watching. Music by John Williams.
Yeah.
Because it just takes you on a trip down your musical memory lane.
Well, and then it's cool when people like John Carpenter, like he does his own music for his movies as well. And I always think about the fact that like, okay, you have a directorial vision. Music is such a part of setting a tone, I think, especially in horror. So the ambiance that he builds, the tension that he builds with the music in Halloween is such a part of it that I'm like, oh, that's great that you can do both.
I mean, some directors like Steven Soderbergh also edits his movies,
right?
Like all by himself. Like we forget that these people are brilliant artists and you have a vision and you can't just farm everything out, which is why I'm going to do the music to my next movie. It's going to be me singing the whole thing.
Oh boy.
just expensive covers.
You singing like Skyfall.
Skyfall.
My top of the cob is that I am driving 5 hours tomorrow and I was kind of dreading it. But now I'm like, this is fun. Like I'm going to pack some stuff. I'm going to get on the road. I'm going to go. I'm going to make my own schedule. I could stop at a rest stop and use a truck stop bathroom, just make a whole day of it.
Oh, as someone who frequently does that, I'm going to tell you what, you are in for a treat. There are truck stops that are better than others. And I will tell you, you will be having fun until about the 3-hour mark. And then you're going to be like, why not?
I just want to be there.
But I would Google fun restaurants along the way, plan your lunch stop, and load up a big coffee.
There's no ball of twine or anything between here and Pensacola. Like, I'm cutting through South Georgia and Alabama.
You taking 85? You taking 85?
I don't know. Do you know what my
taking
map
85?
says? And it might be raining, so I could die.
I'm going to find you something. I'm going to find you a good restaurant.
Okay, between me and Pensacola.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, ugh.
Where do you live? Queers Haven, Georgia?
Queers Haven.
Where do you live? Where do you live?
I'm not doxing myself on here.
White Respite, Georgia. Pensacola. I'm going to find you a restaurant.
Okay, thank you. Also, some days I've mapped it and it's 5 hours, and some days I've mapped it in 7, and I hope tomorrow's a 5-hour day.
You got to leave early.
Yeah. Fan top of the cob. Hi, Liza and Emily. And Hot Scotty, of course, cue the song.
Hot Scotty.
My top of the cob is a poly to monogamy success story. I, living in the U.S., met a man from the U.K. who was in my city for work. We met on a dating app where he stated he was in a relationship, but that it was open. Normally, this would have been an immediate swipe left, as I'm not interested in polyamory, but I happened to have a trip planned to his city the following week, so I thought it could be a fun whirlwind travel romance thing. Well, oops-a-daisy, we stayed together for many months and it became serious. But when I moved back to the UK about 9 months later, I broke up with him as I did not want to be a permanent side chick, which he had known, so the breakup wasn't a surprise. It was a really difficult time as I was very much in love with him, but after 2 months, he decided to end things with his partner who he was with for 10 years and living together for 5 and be with me for real. We are now monogamously together living in the UK. I did not move here for him and planning a future together. This is an incredibly specific top of the cob and probably not very relatable, but for all the girlies out there in a similar situation, if he wants to be with you, he will. Love you guys. I think that is so funny that you're like, right, polyamory didn't work for that man. Like, he left his wife. He was like, oh, I got a new person. Bye, wife of 10 years.
Polyamory is one of these concepts, obviously, that has been around since biblical times, and a lot of cultures still. Actually, no, I was going to say polygamy is what a lot of cultures have, where one guy can have a lot of wives. I do think humans are designed to be monogamous insofar as like it's just you and me. I do think that the human mind, it is hard to like equally love all these people. And I'm sure there are plenty of polyamorous people in this, but it is something. Yeah, I do think it is something that it's usually like, well, I'm kind of into you, but I wish I could do more. I get if you're polyamorous, if it's like I was married and it was restrictive, now I want this, but he wasn't into his wife and now he's into you. And he kind of had 1 foot in anyway. So that's great. That's great that it works for you.
Right. Nobody that's like so wildly happy with their wife. Like, how do you have time for then another person that you're like, I just don't.
Who has the energy?
The energy, the time. Then they're both texting you about their dreams.
Oh, you're just LOL. Folks, I hope you had a nice Valentine's Day. And I hope that you're gearing up to come see me in Cleveland on the 21st of March. And then on my birthday in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh on the 22nd. And then we added a second show in Toronto. And we're also we're adding some extra shows in Brisbane, which is in Australia, because I'm playing Sydney, and we're playing Melbourne coming up. And we've got some shows in Florida. Tickets at Iliza.com/tour. And we are less than a month away from the release of A Different Animal, my new special on Amazon. So grab your ankles, tuck in, and get ready. Okay. And I'd also like to say that I wish you, Emily, a safe and peaceful journey as you fly down 85 for 7 hours holding your pee the entire way, because you realize it's not that fun to stop at a truck stop. Buona giornata.
Lemonade.